Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group. CISA leads its first tabletop exercise for AI cybersecurity. And lawmakers question Microsoft President Brad Smith over the company's China ties and repeated breaches. It's Monday, June 17th, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Here are today's top headlines. Last Thursday, the federal government held its first tabletop exercise for artificial intelligence incident response, bringing in partners from across the country and abroad for the exercise to prepare for scenarios that could go awry as AI becomes even more of a potential threat. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency led the tabletop under the Joint Cyber Defense Collaborative, the operational arm of the cyber defense agency that's focused on working with industry, alongside 50 AI experts from 15 companies and several international cyber defense agencies. The tabletop is one of several Biden administration initiatives in recent months aimed at mitigating the potential risks surrounding the technology, as major companies like Microsoft and others push for quick releases of AI-enabled products that could be exploited by cybercriminals. CISA did not release the details of the three modules in the tabletop, but the exercise with industry focused on understanding what makes up AI-enabled or AI-related cyber incidents, determining what types of information sharing is needed and how industry can best work with the government, and vice versa. A cyber incident could mean an AI system itself is jeopardized, or another system created by an AI is under threat, according to Clayton Romans, Associate Director of the Joint Cyber Defense Collaborative at CISA. Roman said that part of the exercise was focused on, quote, establishing the lexicon and the understanding with companies who are new in the space and tying them in with other companies CISA has worked with for quite a while now in the JCDC to build that baseline mutual understanding and technology. The 4-hour AI tabletop exercise is part of the development of CISA's upcoming AI security incident collaboration playbook. That playbook, which is set to be released at the end of 2024, will be the first of many collaborative efforts from the JCDC, Roman said, and it will lay out specific incident response coordination between the public and private sector, as well as international agencies. In other news, Microsoft President Brad Smith was on the congressional hot seat last Thursday, facing questions from House Homeland Security Committee members about his company's recent security incidents, as well as its ties to Beijing. At a hearing to examine a series of breaches at Microsoft that have raised concerns about its security posture, committee members repeatedly asked Smith about compliance with the 2017 national security law that requires companies operating in China to cooperate with Chinese intelligence agencies. Smith said the cloud business that Microsoft does in China is meant to ensure that an American company operating there keeps their trade secrets in an American data center, and told Chairman Mark Green of Tennessee that China has no access to those centers. However, committee members didn't receive his answer well and continued to push him on Microsoft's dealings in China. Thursday's hearing came on the heels of a report by the Cyber Safety Review Board examining how Chinese hackers were able to steal a signing key and use it to steal emails belonging to senior U.S. officials. That report concluded that the breach was the result of a cascade of security failures at Microsoft, and that the company has fostered a culture that deprioritizes security. One of the more puzzling elements of the Chinese operation is that Beijing's hackers were able to steal a consumer signing key and use it to validate tokens in an enterprise environment, and Democrat Benny Thompson of Mississippi said he remains unsatisfied with Microsoft's explanations for why the stolen key was able to give the attackers such wide-ranging access. Numerous lawmakers also questioned Smith over a ProPublica story published Thursday that featured allegations from a whistleblower that Microsoft failed to address a known security issue known as the Golden SAML vulnerability, which Russian hackers later exploited in the SolarWinds breach. Smith said Microsoft was just one victim of the SolarWinds breach, which was carried out by sophisticated hackers backed by the Russian government, and that the SAML issue was an industry-wide one. Thursday's hearing featured many more dynamics around the security issues that Microsoft has faced, which you can read more about on cyberscoop.com. And for more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.